estás en mí, por siempre te adoraré, tu gracia eterna es, en tu presencia quiero estar y tu grandeza proclamar. Espíritu fluye hoy en mí. Fluye, fluye, ven y llena este lugar. Fluye, fluye, en tu gloria quiero estar. Fluye, fluye, Espíritu fluye en mí, Espíritu fluye en mí. Tu nombre exaltaré, nueva vida encontré. Jesús, me levantarás, en ti tengo libertad, en tu presencia quiero estar y tu grandeza proclamar. Espíritu fluye hoy en mí. Fluye, fluye, ven y llena este lugar. Fluye, fluye, en tu gloria quiero estar. Fluye, fluye, Espíritu fluye en mí, Espíritu fluye en mí. Mi refugio y mi escudo eres tú, exaltado por siempre eres tú. Lléname, Santo Espíritu, y fluye. Mi refugio y mi escudo eres tú, exaltado por siempre eres tú. Lléname, Santo Espíritu, y fluye. Fluye, fluye, ven y llena este lugar. Fluye, fluye, en tu gloria quiero estar. Fluye, fluye, Espíritu fluye en mí, Espíritu fluye en mí. Fluye, fluye, ven y llena este lugar. Fluye, fluye, en tu gloria quiero estar. Fluye, fluye, Espíritu fluye en mí, Espíritu fluye en mí. Mi confianza está en ti, Cristo vivo estás en mí, por siempre te adoraré, tu gracia eterna es, en tu presencia quiero estar y tu grandeza proclamar. Espíritu fluye hoy en mí. Fluye, fluye, ven y llena este lugar. Fluye, fluye, en tu gloria quiero estar. Fluye, fluye, Espíritu fluye en mí.
Welcome, everybody. This is Jason Mariba, your host of Glory to God podcast. And tonight we have another special show with a beast special guest. He is a beast on the drums, the best drummer I've ever seen live. Probably the best ever seen ever in the DMV. I cannot wait to bring on the show Kevin Rutledge.
Hey, everybody.
Kevin,
How you doing, Jonathan?
the best drummer, hands down. I'm bowing.
Oh,
I'm bowing right now. I'm bowing.
I,
Best drummer I've
I
ever seen, man.
don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to do a little something. I do a little bit.
You know
A
how many
little
you know how many
bit.
people come to our church on Sunday and all I see is their eyes are on the drums. I'm like, you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at. You're looking at the same thing I'm looking at. No, man. So definitely,
Oh, man.
definitely, definitely thank you for coming on to the show. We're excited to have you. So what made you just fall in love with the drums?
Man. I mean, the thing is, like my family, I have a very musical family.
Mm.
My cousins, a whole bunch of cousins play pretty much everything. We play about every drums, keys, bass, harmonica, accordion, every horn. And it's my family is a huge family, so it's a lot of us. And a lot, I mean, we can do somebody can play pretty much every instrument. So it's a couple of cousins that I looked up to.
Mm,
My two older cousins, names Lamont and Derek.
mhm.
From Beulahville, North Carolina, and it's as country as it sounds. So, but those are two people I always looked up to, man. And I used to watch them play drums, and I just thought that it looked cool
Mm.
because they was doing it. I thought that they were like the coolest people ever. So I started kind of, taking a liking to drums, and
Mm.
just naturally, it evolved into me really loving, I mean, having a hunger and a thirst
Mm.
for drums and music and stuff. And it all kind of comes from my family, the Hall family. And like I said, Beulahville, North Carolina, it's a lot of us.
That,
And
that's the
you know
that's
they they have a
that's
lot of on me, a lot of
no,
influence.
that's amazing, man. Family
Yeah,
makes a big difference. I think it's
absolutely.
amazing you could have a family that is that talented and
Hmm.
just to be able to be surrounded by that type of family. I know it's a blessing for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but do you remember when you first picked up your sticks? How was the feeling of picking up your first pair of sticks?
uh I don't remember the first time, but I remember like in the early stages.
Mm-hmm.
When I guess my mom, well, both of my parents kind of really noticed that I liked music, so they went. I think maybe I was beating on like a whole bunch of just whatever I saw at the house that was around. If it resembled a drum, I would play on it. And I remember, I used to be in the car. My dad or my mom or whoever. We would go to we'd go to McDonald's,
Mm,
and after we're done eating, I would want to collect everyone's cups
mm,
and keep the tops on them because I need the
mm.
top so I can make a drum set in the back seat with everyone's cups. So I
Mm.
would save them and then get some straws and make a drum set and stuff, and just whatever song comes on the radio, I just play it right in the back seat as a little boy.
Man, so you
So
had a love for it for sure, and you definitely could see that, man, it was gonna go somewhere. And what was it
mhm.
like getting your first drum set?
uh it was amazing. Like my dad, uh I remember it to this day because my dad said he was taking me somewhere. He said he's getting something for me,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't tell me what he was getting. He didn't tell me where we were going. We was at the house, and we just left. We went some far place. I don't even know where the place was. And we walked in. He went to one of his buddies' houses, and I just sat in the truck and waited for my dad. Then he told me to come in and pointed at the drum set. And
Mm.
that's if he's like, this is your new drum set.
Oh man.
Uh, so he got me the drum set. I was on top of the world at that. So I got that drum set, and we got home, set it up, and I played that drum set every single day. Like my mom tells me this story about me when I was little. Like it's this commercial. Do you remember the 409 like the spray
The
cleaner?
spray, yeah, the spray.
Yeah, they this commercial and the music was amazing. And keep in mind, I'm like 8, 7, something. So every time that came on, I would run in this other room where my drum set was and grab the drum set and try to get back in there and and play the song before the commercial goes off. Mom says she would just laugh because I never had the drum set up in time. It never to this day. So I would run in there and I would bring piece by piece and I would just be trying to set it up. And by the time I get ready to play, the commercial's gone off.
Yeah,
And I'm just waiting for another song in a commercial to come on that I like.
You're ready to sit out. You're sitting on, about to sit down on the throne, and boom, the show starts.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
That thing used to hurt me so bad. And my mom, like, she thought it was the most hilarious thing.
Oh my gosh.
So I
But
still
man,
remember.
7 and
I remember-
8. That means you started early, Kevin.
Oh yeah, I started pretty early.
That is amazing. So, what helped to get you to where you're at today? I mean, like I said, Kevin, you're the best drummer I've seen live, and everybody who's ever played with you, man, just is like, Kevin's a beast. But what went into making that beast? Obviously you started early, but
Well, yeah, I started early, and I had, my family. They were, because there were so many musicians,
mhm.
and then me growing up in in church and stuff. Everyone was just tough on us. Like my my family, my uncles, older cousins.
Mhm.
I mean, they didn't let us get away with anything. You couldn't come in there. You had to know the song, and I'm talking about you 10. You better know that song when you get in. You can learn everything else at 10. You can learn how to do this and how to do that, and you can learn songs and how to say this and all. So, their thinking was you should be able to learn how to play these songs right. So they really, pushed us, and it was also about, like they use music as like a disciplinary tool as well, to teach us discipline, teach us patience, teach us how to focus and, stuff like that. So, that I just always applied those things to about every aspect of my life. And I mean, of course, to music. And, no matter how far I got or where I got in music, I just always use that stuff that my family taught me. And, God has blessed me with some opportunities, and I took advantage of them.
That's amazing, Kevin, man. And kind of going on those opportunities, that's kind of leading me to my next question, which is you've obviously been playing for years. You've been a professional musician for years. And like I said, who have you had the pleasure of playing with, artists that you've played with or even possibly been in studio with that you have a positive, I would say, experience with?
I've played for or been in the studio with like Raheem Devon, Genuine, Tracy Braxton.
Nice.
Done some stuff with Marvin Sapp. I did several movies for BET, UMC.
Wow.
Who else? Melissa Morgan, Tony Terry. Trying to think. Goodness.
That's a long list, man. And I think that just
Tony
speaks like
Terry, Brent Jones, Corinne Hawthorne. Been some more people. Lynn Jones. I don't know. Lynn Jones.
So, and I know my brother and I, Pastor Harrison, we talk about it a lot. I mean, he could tell him, is that when we see you play on Sunday, we're like, man, we're just blessed to have you as a musician, as part of our team and part of our church. So that's amazing to hear that long list. I'm like, no wonder he's such a beast. I was like, dang.
I appreciate it, and I enjoy it, man. The The church is just amazing. Like I love the people there, and
Yeah.
of course, having me and you having our little football talks on
Oh yeah.
Sunday. About about
We got you. How
the
about
Raiders always start good. And then,
I, I knew somehow the Raiders were going to be pulled into this show. I just knew somehow it was going to be sliding into this show. But yes, sadly, I am a Raiders fan. But hopefully, we'll do good next year.
well,
I'm glad
and
that you
saying
guys were the only team that gave Tom Brady comp. I will give you that this year.
okay.
But hey, I definitely love our football talks. But so Kevin, going back on those, working with those artists, what are
Uh-huh.
some of the things you would give advice to younger drummers or younger musicians who strive to want to work with bigger artists like that?
Well, one thing you have to be very open.
Mm-hmm.
Some people make things about themselves a lot. That
Mm,
some people come into situations that are very self-centered, and a lot of those people last a long time at all. So
mm.
you got to be open. You have to be able to adjust. I mean, you should be like that in life, period. I believe, but
Amen.
definitely in the industry. You have to be able to go with you have to be able to call an audible
Mm.
uh, at all times. You can come in there and you can have this whole everything planned out on how you want things to run, and it can just all change instantly. So you have to, be an open person, be a positive person, and be a good problem solver,
Mm.
and sometimes even a good counselor. Because I mean, oh my goodness, I got stories for days. About
Yeah, I would say it's
we
funny.
come in supposed to do some music or something, or produce or record or do a gig or rehearse. You got to have a counselor first.
I know,
So
man. I love
you
that
never
you
know
said
what.
the audibles because there was a one time you shared with me about sometimes the drum sets that you go to a church. They say, "Yeah, we got a drum set," and then you show up and you're like, "So tell me one of those funny stories about when you pulled up to a church and you were like, oh my gosh, I might have to come back later."
Man, like one time, goodness, which story should I even tell? So I remember I was playing for this one artist. His name was Brent Jones. He was a very popular gospel artist back in the day. I played for him, a long time ago. And that's one of the things that I asked. Well, we always ask about. What do they
Hmm.
have for drums? Is there anything I need to bring?
Hmm.
Of course, I heard everything is fine. It was not that way. To make a long story
Oh.
short, I brought my snare. I had to put my instead of having a snare stand, I had to like put my snare on like a seat and play and play it. And I think I ended up for the last few songs. And this is his CD release
Oh no.
party thing. So, and I ended up like using a tom as a snare. So instead of goop, it was like doom, doom. I was like, oh my goodness, man. So you just never know. You
Oh
never
my.
know what you're gonna run into. You just got to take the cards you dealt and play to win. Make it work.
No,
I mean, goodness gracious.
that's hilarious, man. And to hear that, one thing I love is that you just have a positive attitude always. And I think even then, I could imagine you in those moments. You're like, oh well, we're gonna make it work, and
Absolutely, got to be that way. Yep.
exactly. And I think that's amazing because I guess I know sometimes when you make an audible, some people can get frustrated to the point that they don't want to make an audible. It's like, whatever, I'm out. But it's like, no,
Yeah, you can't be like that.
no, you got to make the best out of the situation, and I think that's
Absolutely.
amazing. Definitely amazing advice to all upcoming musicians. Like definitely audible.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
one of the things you always told me is always practice. I
Oh
think,
yeah.
I mean, you're just a natural at the drums, but I bet it took practice to get to where you're at.
Yeah, man. It used to be, and I tell my mom today, I don't know how she put up with me playing drums because I would be on the drums for hours,
Oh man.
every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, not one day. I remember one time, actually several times, I was on the drums for like 8 hours.
Oh
I
man.
mean, just playing. And when I
Sheesh.
got done, I didn't even feel done.
And this
You
is
know,
before
so
the whole iPod came out, right? So everything was
yeah,
a
this
CD.
was yeah. I was back, practicing. I would have headphones on, and the way that I always practice is I would always play the CDs.
Mm.
I always had a CD on and a lot of John P. Key, Fred Hammond, because they
Mm.
all their songs were always workouts. I mean
Mm.
they got shots and lines and all this stuff you got to catch.
Mm.
So it was good workout music, and that stuff prepares you for a whole bunch of different other types of music, other situations. That if you can play John P. Key stuff, you can play a lot of music out here. It's his
Yeah.
stuff. He got that is music right
Yeah.
there.
No, that's definitely a key piece. Like you said, practicing and exercising. I had my
Absolutely.
guest recently share, put your 10,000 hours in. So I think it's
Yep.
amazing. You got to put your hours in. I
Have to.
believe me, I was so amazed because I mean, I played a little bit of drums and just trying to get my body parts almost to be able to do what they can by itself. I'm like, how does Kevin do this? Oh, I can't do that roll. I practiced that roll about 20 times. I can't get it. I do
I
thank
mean,
you.
we can always get up, man. You a phone call away.
I'm too old now. I'm too old
Oh my goodness,
now.
no, you're
No,
not.
but you did recently show me how to play the go-go beat, so I was definitely thankful for that. I've been practicing that a little bit, but
Mhm.
I feel you on the noise. My mom, I felt bad, and then my Josiah, he's recently tried to play, and I'm like, Lord, how did I do this to my mom? That noise level's too high. But Kevin,
Yeah.
why is you mentioned obviously growing up in church, and you mentioned your family
Uh-huh.
being so important. How has God and faith been such a big component in getting to become the musician that you are now?
God and faith is like kind of the driving force
Mm,
for everything. At the end of the day, we're here to, what we're supposed to do is, do all this stuff, everything we gain in life, all the stuff we do, all the accomplishments that we get. It's really, some people use it for their personal gain,
mm,
and it's not really for that. Really, we're supposed to take all that and use it for other people and to bless other people and to
amen.
love on other people and to pass down to other people.
Amen.
That's what it's about. And that doesn't just mean, our families, our sons, our daughters. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that counts. I believe it needs to be somebody that is absolutely external
Mm, yeah.
from your bloodline. So, you know, God has definitely been using me to, to reach people, and not just, of course, in gospel, but in R&B as well.
Yeah.
Some people, from being in these R&B and hip hop circuits, some people have come to church because I was there and I just happened to be talking to them about it.
Mm.
So, like, God and that's like the driving force, at
That's a
least for me, because I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing, and I know that's
amen.
how God is using me
Mm.
to make an impact on this earth. It's
N-
through music, through
Yeah,
multiple genres.
yeah,
So,
man.
like I said, it's not about me, man. I know that's very church cliche,
Mm.
but it's absolutely not about me. And
Mm.
I don't like all the spotlight and
Man.
trying to be famous. I don't want to do any of that. I just
Mm,
want
yeah.
to make sure God uses me to for His will to get things done that He wants to get done, and for other people to be touched.
Amen, man. No,
Mhm.
and again, that's what I say. I love about one of the things about our friendship is I can testify to that. That Kevin, you're one of the most humble musicians I know, especially with your talent level. I've met some musicians that are not even close, and unfortunately, the arrogance is out the window.
Yeah,
And those are the ones that unfortunately don't stick around long, like you said. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
humbleness and just knowing that at the end of the day, you're doing God's will, and I definitely see that in you. And I love that you said passed down. I see it
Yeah.
in I see it in Matthias. Man, that man runs to the drums every
Oh my
Sunday.
goodness. Man, let me tell you this. So, I got I got to take them to school in the morning.
Mhm.
Man, so I don't even set an alarm anymore. It is absolutely pointless. Matthias, he wakes up, gets dressed, and he just starts. I put a drum set in his room.
Mm.
So he plays, 6:30 in the morning.
Oh
There's
man.
drums going off in his room. And I'm like, man, I still got like 45 minutes more to sleep. Goodness,
Oh,
but I never stop him because I just remember how I was
oh
as a little
man.
boy.
Yeah,
I just let him. I get up and just be
it's
tired, and but I let him go. I never stop
it's in his genes, man. He's such
him.
a
Yeah.
like I saw him when he was first walking because we saw him since he was a baby, and he was going straight to the drums, and I was like, oh
Oh yeah,
man, he's okay.
absolutely.
I saw him grab the sticks, and then I saw him playing. I was like, oh man. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
he's you, obviously, like you said, it's passing down, and sometimes you don't see
Hmm.
you may not see it now, but in a couple of years, you're gonna be like, wow, it's definitely because he started
Yeah.
so early, man. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
you're not only involved in the drums. I've recently noticed that you're getting in production and producing. So tell me about that. What led to you going that route?
Uh, to be honest, I really that wasn't really part of my plan.
Oh,
I just kind of fell into it, kind of. There was some inspiration behind it. Like
mm,
one thing that really made me want to do production was when I heard the Brandy Full Moon album.
mm,
That song, "What About Us," absolutely changed my life. The production on it was just out of this world. It was a sound I'd never heard before.
mm,
And, it gave me a feeling like the feeling that I had when I heard that song. In my mind, I was like, I want to give that feeling to like the whole rest of the world. But I,
mm,
I don't know if I can do that playing drums, but creating music, I believe maybe there I can do it. So,
mm.
I just kind of fell into it. And then, I've been being around a whole bunch of musicians that was producers. I was just in the studio with some of my friends and they're producing all these people. And, sitting in those environments, watching them, I always had ideas of my own.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I should, get me a little setup and, give it a shot. And you know, let's see what happens. And then I started doing it, and now I love it. I mean, just as much as drums.
Mm,
Creating music is just it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that's a little bit more personal.
mm.
Because it's a creation. It's like
Yeah.
something that you're birthing.
Yeah.
So I love it, man. I love it, and that was not my my plan or my intention, but I'm in it, and I'm loving every bit of it.
And it's amazing that you took that jump there because I think that, like you said, it allows you to expand your creativity to
Hmm.
another level, and the fact
Absolutely.
that you're learning, but you're willing to learn. Some people will be like, ah, whatever. Like I said, like I was jokingly saying, I'm too old. No, we're not old. We can still do things at this age,
Absolutely.
and we can still learn and be great at it. And I think that's amazing that
Hmm.
you produced a song recently. And what did it take? What does it take to actually produce a song? Because obviously I've never been in the
Uh,
production side. I
uh-huh.
just see the song and I see the promotion. I've never actually seen the what it takes to produce a beat, what it takes to produce vocals.
Uh,
I would love to learn it. Obviously, having a daughter who sings myself, because I know eventually we're gonna go down that road. But I would love
right.
to hear from you just the basics of going into a song and producing it.
Man, it's different for everybody. I'll
Mm,
say that. It's not like a certain formula. You just follow this formula and that's what works. Like, it's different for everybody. Again, going back to what I said earlier, sometimes you'll come in the studio. It's been a billion times. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get up at 7. We're gonna work from 7. We'll try to finish up about 10, something like that. We talk from 7 till 10. We don't get started until 10. But sometimes you got to get people in the frame of mind
Mm,
to sing the song. Sometimes those talks is what it takes. So, when they sing it and then other people hear it, it'll be believable instead
mm,
of them just coming in there and just singing it. Sometimes you gotta finesse their emotions and their mentality into delivering that song. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot sometimes. Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes the juices is just flowing, and we just come up. I'll come up with some music. Somebody will be in here writing some lyrics, and we'll just come up in a song in like 30 minutes. But sometimes it'll take some hours.
mm,
So it works differently depending on the environment, depending on the person,
mm.
depending on what happened that day. It's a lot that goes into it. Creating music comes from inspiration, and you
Mm,
have to be inspired to get the creations that will stick with people, that'll help people, that'll affect people.
okay.
So
No, definitely.
it's quite a bit, man, quite a bit.
Definitely, definitely. I've seen some just small clips of people posting, I guess, what goes into making even a beat. And I'm just like, Lord, I don't have, it does take time. And people don't realize. And I tell people all the time that when someone is either producing a song, playing a song, singing a song, doing a show, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't know about. and
Absolutely.
and it's a lot
Yep.
of things that people obviously, that's why encouragement is such a big thing when we get encouraged by others, and obviously seeing the
Hmm.
work. I believe me, when I see any song, I think about the work that went into that song. Whenever I see a video, I think about the work that came into that video. So it's
Yeah.
amazing to see that you are definitely producing some songs. Any new songs coming up on this in this recent year that you kind of are planning, or any albums you are
Uh,
working on?
well, well, I'm definitely working with a few artists. This is an artist I've been working with for years.
Mm,
Her name is Patrice Live, and she has some stuff coming out. This girl named Chris Jane. She actually just released a single February 26th called "I Want to Love You."
okay.
So we're supposed to be doing some more stuff coming up, and another artist from the area named Christian, very popular singer in the area, phenomenal singer,
Mm,
really great person. We released a single last fall, so she has some more stuff coming out. Another artist, Alianza Rivera.
mm.
We just finished her EP, and that's supposed to be coming out this summer as well. And as long and as well, we got a couple movies slated that
Mm.
we're going to be working on soon. They should be on I don't know what network it's going to be on. I think one of them is going to be on BET,
Okay.
and and one of them, I don't, I don't know, but
Yeah. No, and I think
yeah,
that's
but
amazing to see that you have these shows and these albums and these projects lined up. Because
mhm.
I'll be honest, I tell people all the time, I know COVID wasn't easy, I think, on a
Oh
lot of
no,
people. And to see that God has blessed you with this amount of work and this amount of projects,
yeah,
it,
I'm very thankful.
no, and that's all God, man. And to see that
It,
obviously God has blessed you and favored you, and obviously, man, it's amazing to hear that. And I know you're gonna do an amazing job, Kevin. And
Thank you, man.
all I can
Appreciate it.
say is that we're grateful to God to have you at our church, and to see you using production and drumming to glorify God. I mean, that's all about what our show is that we always
Yeah.
want to bring the glory to God, and you definitely are doing
Hmm.
that, Kevin. So we thank you again for
Absolutely.
coming. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We thank Kevin for coming on to the show. Again,
Thanks for having me.
if you haven't seen him live, come to TC Maryland service at 3 o'clock. You will be amazed. Your jaw will be dropped. You can sit right in the front row, right next to him. I guarantee you, you will leave just with your jaw dropped. But thank you,
You know
Kevin.
I'm shy, Jonathan. You know I'm shy.
I,
Please stop.
will make him sit next to my dad, Kevin. I'll make him sit next. Uh, all right,
Your
everybody.
dad is the best. I love him, man. Goodness,
No,
that is an amazing
we'll
guy.
have a show where we bring my dad on and you on, and we just go a whole show. Don't worry, don't worry. But again, thank you to all our viewers out there. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure to share and follow all our pages. We love you and God bless.